FPL Game Week 6 Team Selection. What is up everyone, how's it going? FPL Era here and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. If you watch my transfer plans video during the week, you'll already know that I have one free transfer used already and I'm still deciding whether or not to play my wildcard, so stay tuned for this video to see if I've activated it or not. In today's video I'm going to show you the best wildcard team ahead of Game Week 6 and we'll also be looking at how I'm shaping up ahead of tomorrow's deadline. We've lots to discuss, let's get into the video. So before we get into today's video, quick reminder as always to drop the video a like and let's hit the like goal of 80 likes on this video. So head on down there, give the video a like, and if you are watching this and you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Head on down there, click subscribe and support the channel. We're trying to hit 10k subs for the season. The main goal at the moment is to hit 7k before Christmas. So if you haven't done so already, head on down there, click subscribe and support the channel. So if you watch my transfer plans video during the week, you know that I had a very decent week in Game Week 5, 87 points of the week, 9 out of my 11 starting players, all returning, and we got a massive green arrow, and I'm now sitting at 211k overall. We are in a very good position at the moment, to be fair. I don't think Game Week 6 is going to be as good as a week as I had in Game Week 5, but all I want is a green arrow, and hopefully get one step closer to the top 100k spot. I'm going to say it for the one last time, I managed to get the highest FPL points out of every content creator last week, so if that doesn't deserve subscribe to the channel, I'm not sure what else does. Right then, that's the Game Week 5 review out of the way. Let's move on and see if I am playing my wildcard this week and how I'm shaping up ahead of tomorrow's deadline. Right then, let's get straight into it. If you are looking to play your wildcard this week, here's the best Game Week 6 wildcard team that'll set you up nicely for the next couple of weeks. I do still have my wildcard still to play also, but I'll chat about that later on in the video, whether or not I'm going to activate my wildcard or not. Straight into the goalkeeper, so we're going with David Raya of Arsenal. Arsenal have a great run of fixtures over the next couple of game weeks against Leicester, Southampton and Bournemouth, so they definitely scream some clean sheet potentials for the best defence in the league. He did miss out in the cup game last night with a muscular injury, but I do expect him to be fit for that Leicester game at the weekend. All eyes on Arteta's press conference on Friday. But if it sounds like he's going to miss out, you can always downgrade the Flecken, as he's been solid over the opening weeks. Partnering Raya in goals, I've gone with Fabianski of West Ham. Doesn't really matter what 4 million goalkeeper you go here, you can pick anyone you want, but I have gone with Fabianski as he probably has more chance of getting some minutes if Areola does get injured, with him being second choice for West Ham. Doesn't really matter though, you're playing Raya every week and he's set and forget for the season. Moving on to the defence, we'll go from left to right and starting off with Gabriel. The double up on the Arsenal defence is an absolute must if you are wildcarding this week. Just with their favourite fixture run over the next couple of game weeks, Leicester, Southampton and Bournemouth all scream out the chance of a clean sheet for the Arsenal defenders, and that's why the double up is pretty much essential. Even if you aren't on wildcard this week, I'll probably make it a priority to try and get a second Arsenal defender into your team, because the amount of people who are wildcarding this week, they're going to be on the Arsenal double up. So if you only go into this game week with one Arsenal defender, you're probably in trouble if Arsenal keep a clean sheet, and you will go down the ranks with only one Arsenal defender. Looking at Gabriel, he's definitely the pick of the Arsenal defenders. 2 goals in his last 2 games. If you look how Arsenal set up for set pieces, they're always aiming or targeting Gabriel. He probably could have scored twice against City last week. He got his 2 in his last 2 game weeks, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a third the way Arsenal are setting up. But 36 points in the first 5 game weeks for Gabriel. He's been an absolute joy to own since game week 1. If you go back to my game week 1 deadline stream, it was a 50-50 call whether or not to choose Gabriel or Vardiol. Thankfully, I went with Gabriel and I have his 36 points in my back pocket and a transfer saved, as I don't have to bring him into the team. We then move on to our second premium defender in Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's pretty much in the team for his attacking threat. He finally got his first attacking return of the season last week against Bournemouth when he got that 11-point haul last week. But he's the same as Gabriel, only 1 blank all season. He's been an absolute joy to own since game week 1. Looking at Liverpool's fixtures, fair enough, the Wolves game this weekend is a nice fixture for Trent, but they do have Chelsea and Arsenal over the next 4 games. But looking at Trent, even if Liverpool do concede, there's always a chance of an attacking return, and that's why he's in the team. Up next after Trent is Rico Lewis of Manchester City. Maybe it's a slight risk having Lewis in the team just off the basis of Pep Roulette, but with that injury to Rodri, that's going to see him miss out on the rest of the season. I think it's a risk worth taking and bringing Rico Lewis into the team. With Man City, they have a great run of fixtures up until game week 11, and if Rico Lewis can get some consistent minutes in that team, I do predict some clean sheet hauls for Man City. And the way he started the season up until game week 4, before he was taken off at half-time against Brentford and then benched against Arsenal, he looked very lively, and he has 1 assist over those 3.5 games. So I think he is worth the risk, and that's why he's in the team. Mikalenko and Greaves complete the back 5, and they're just a cheap route into the Everton and Ipswich defence. Looking at Mikalenko, if you do the funds available, you could probably upgrade Mikalenko to Konsa, and then looking at Greaves, he's been playing 90 minutes every week for Ipswich. And to be fair to Ipswich, they have a really nice run of fixtures coming up over the next couple of weeks, so if Rico Lewis does miss out on 1 week due to Pep Roulette, Greaves, or even Mikalenko or Konsa, if you do go for Konsa, they can sub into the team. But it's nice to see Ipswich have a favourite run of fixtures, and Greaves is a nice cheap enabler at 4 million, especially with those fixtures. We then move on to midfield and we start off with a man in form in Bryan Mbeumo. 4 goals in the opening 5 games for the Brentford man, and Brentford have a great run of fixtures up until game week 13, and with Mbeumo going to be on penalties, with Tony gone from Brentford, he should be pretty much an essential player locked into your team. Next beside Mbeumo is Eze of Crystal Palace. Fair enough, he has only got 1 return in the opening 5 games, but he should have a lot more than that. Definitely should have scored against Man United last week. Hit the bar in game week 2, should have scored in game week 1 with that free kick that was ruled out when it shouldn't have been. Got the return in game week 3. I just think there's a big haul coming for Eze, and hopefully it is this weekend. If you don't want to go Eze, you can always go with Luis Diaz of Liverpool. He's a man in red hot form at the moment. I just think with Luis Diaz and the Liverpool attackers, there's a lot of rotation around the corner, especially when the Champions League is back, and that's why I just prefer Eze. But as I said, if you want to get some Liverpool cover, get Diaz into the team. We then move on to Bukayo Saka, and with that favourable fixture run for Arsenal over the next couple of weeks, it means a triple up on the Arsenal lads is pretty much essential. And looking at that Leicester fixture this weekend, Saka is definitely the standout captaincy pick. So if you do have Saka in your team, I'd be recommending giving him the armband this week. I do think that's a fixture he can haul very well in at the moment. I don't have Saka in the team, so I am slightly worried about that 3 o'clock game on Saturday. We then move on to Morgan Rogers. He's up against Ipswich away from home this weekend. He finally got his first attacking returns of the season. It's great to see him playing 90 minutes every week so far. So at 5.2, he's probably 5.3 at the moment, I'm not 100% sure, but he's a great pick, especially at that price point, and I can see some nice returns from him over the next couple of weeks. And then we finish off the midfield with Semenyo of Bournemouth up against Leicester and Southampton over the next 2 weeks, so some great fixtures for the Bournemouth man. He actually has the most shots out of all midfielders in the league, and he has been looking very threatening for Bournemouth, so that's why he's in the team, especially at that price point too. Erling Haaland, Dominic Solanke and Chris Wood complete this wildcard team, and starting off with Erling Haaland, he needs absolutely no explanation. 10 goals in the opening 5 games is a crazy return from the City man up front. He's up against Newcastle this weekend, and the way Newcastle are defending at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised to see another return from him or 2 this weekend. Up next is Chris Wood, and Nottingham Forest are a team in form, and Chris Wood is a player in form, with Nottingham Forest still unbeaten in the league, and Chris Wood scoring 3 goals in the opening 5 games. He's also got the added bonus of being on penalties, which is lovely. I had him in my team last week and was delighted to see him on penalty duties over Morgan Gibbs-White, and Nottingham Forest have a great run of fixtures now over the next couple of game weeks. Fulham, Crystal Palace, Leicester and West Ham up until game week 10, so if you are on wildcard, I'll get Chris Wood into the team with those nice fixtures for Nottingham Forest. Dominic Solanke completes his wildcard squad, and he finally got off the mark for Spurs last weekend. And to be fair to Spurs, they have a nice run of fixtures over the next couple of game weeks against Brighton, West Ham, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa and Ipswich, who are all conceding for fun at the moment, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Solanke get a few returns over these run of games, and that's why he makes the wildcard team. Let me know in the comments if you are using your wildcard this week, and tell us how your team is currently shaping up. But with this wildcard team out of the way, let's move on now and start planning ahead with my own team ahead of tomorrow's deadline. So shifting the focus back to my own team, if you watch my transfer plans video during the week, I've already used 1 free transfer, taking out Diogo Jota and bringing in Bryan Mbeumo on Sunday night before Mbeumo rose in price. Looking at Mbeumo, he's a man in form, 4 goals in the opening 5 games, and he's up against West Ham this weekend, who are conceding for fun, so I do think it's a fixture that Mbeumo can return well in. Looking at Jota, is it going to be a mistake getting rid of him early? He did score twice in the Carabao Cup during the week. After he scored twice, I probably do think it means he starts the Wolves game this weekend, so I have to hope he stays quiet for the 60-70 minutes I think he's going to be on the pitch for. But looking at Mbeumo, I think he does outscore him this weekend, and fingers crossed he does. With that Mbeumo transfer locked in, we then move on to my second potential transfer plan, and that'll be taking out Dean Henderson and bringing in David Raya, with the focus on getting a second Arsenal defender with that favourable fixture run for Arsenal, and especially that Leicester fixture at home this weekend. But David Raya did miss out on the cup game for Arsenal during the week with a muscular injury, so he's a bit of a doubt for the weekend's games. We're just going to have to wait until Arteta's press conference on Friday for a clear update on the Spaniard. And if it does sound like he is going to miss, it's probably going to work in my favour, as I can keep Henderson, and if I do wildcard next week or the week after, I can finally get Raya into the team when he's going to be alright. Here's how my current starting 11 is shaping up ahead of tomorrow's deadline, and as you can guess probably by now, I won't be activating my wildcard this week. I think just looking at my starting 11, it's far too strong to even consider wildcarding, and that's why I'll be holding it for future weeks. Maybe I have a few issues on the bench. João Pedro's going to miss out in this game week. Barco's obviously gone abroad, and then Johnson isn't even getting regular minutes for Ipswich, but I'm happy enough to keep the wildcard and save it for future weeks. Looking at my options on whether or not to wildcard this week, if I was to wildcard this week with my team here, I'd be focusing on getting in a second Arsenal defender, which I can if Raya is fit. I can do Henderson to Raya, as I've discussed already, and then in the midfield I'll be probably looking at getting Semenyo and maybe Diaz, but I've got Smith Rowe and A's in the team already, and I'm pretty happy with those for the weekend, and that's the reason why I'm holding my wildcard. I'm giving the armband to Erling Haaland in the early kickoff against Newcastle. Newcastle have been very poor defensively since the start of the season, and I'm expecting Haaland to get at least 1 return, maybe even 2. Hopefully I'm not cursed from the early kickoff, and hopefully I won't be seeing any Gandhi memes across Twitter. But 5 returns out of 5 from a captaincy pick so far. Fingers crossed Haaland can make it 6 out of 6 this weekend. It was a very close call between him and Mo Salah. I think Salah can still do return very well against Wolves. But if I did have Saka in my team, I'd definitely be giving him the armband with that Leicester fixture at home. But because I don't, Erling Haaland gets the armband this week, and we're hoping for a haul from the big man. If you've made it to the end of this video, please give it a like, drop a comment below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's hit a like goal of 80 likes on this video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, head on down there, click subscribe. The main goal before Christmas is to hit 7k subscribers. So if you haven't done so already, head on down there, click subscribe, support the channel, and we can definitely reach that milestone with your support. I'll see you all on Saturday afternoon for a GAMEWEEK 6 deadline stream where I'll be locking in my team before the deadline, and hopefully we can get another green arrow this week, especially when other managers are wildcarding, and if we do get a green arrow, we're going to be one step closer to the top 100k. I'll see you all so on the deadline stream on Saturday. Thanks for watching. Best of luck for the week.